Have you ever been told that aspiring wealth isn't godly, or that Jesus Christ himself lived a life of poverty? Today, we're going to dismantle these myths and reveal how the scriptures depict a very different picture of Christ's life. Stick around as we explore how Jesus actually lived, supported by wealth and generosity, challenging our perceptions of godliness and prosperity. When we consider the life of Jesus, it's important to start at the very beginning, his birth. Contrary to common belief about his poverty, the scriptures tell us about significant gifts he received as a newborn. In Matthew chapter 2, we read about the wise men or magi who came from the east bringing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. These were not merely symbolic gifts, but substantial offerings that underscored his kingship and supported his family financially, especially during their exile in Egypt to escape King Herod's wrath. These gifts, particularly gold, represented substantial wealth and were indicative of divine providence and favor. Such treasures could have easily sustained Jesus and his family during the time in Egypt, providing not just basic needs, but ensuring a level of comfort and security. This early infusion of wealth into his life challenges the notion of material wealth as inherently ungodly. Instead, it illustrates that God can use wealth as a means of provision and protection for his purpose. How then did this early wealth impact Jesus' ministry and interactions? Let's dive deeper into his adult life and ministry to find out. As Jesus embarked on his ministry, the Gospel of Luke provides insight into the financial dynamics of his operations. Luke chapter 8, verses 1 through 3 describes how Jesus was supported with several influential and successful women who traveled with him, such as Mary Magdalene, Joanna, and Susanna. These women were not merely followers, but benefactors contributing their own resources to support him and his disciples. This kind of support underscores the network of patrons who saw value in Jesus' teachings and were willing to fund his mission. This arrangement allowed Jesus to focus on his teachings and miracles without the constant worry of financial limitations. It also indicates that his ministry was recognized and valued within the wealthier segments of society, challenging the notion that spirituality and wealth must be mutually exclusive. Moreover, having a treasurer, Judas Iscariot, managing the finances suggests that money flowing into the ministry was substantial enough to require oversight. This presence of a treasury highlights the organizational complexity and the need for financial governance, further dismantling the idea of a perpetually impoverished ministry. If Jesus' ministry was sustained through generous donations and careful financial management, what does that tell us about the role of resources in fulfilling divine missions? How can we reconcile responsible use of wealth with spiritual growth and service? In the scriptures, there's a striking detail about Jesus that often goes overlooked and speaks volumes of his social standing and the perception of wealth around him. John chapter 19, verse 23 tells us that Jesus wore a seamless robe, a garment of high quality and value. At the crucifixion, rather than dividing it, the soldiers cast lots for it, recognizing its worth. The seamless robe wasn't just practical, it was a symbol of status and craftsmanship, far removed from the plain attire that would be expected of someone living in poverty. This garment metaphorically illustrates that Jesus was not perceived as poor by those around him. His attire was of such quality that even Roman soldiers found it too valuable to tear apart. This act alone challenges the common narrative of Jesus' poverty, suggesting a different economic reality. Furthermore, Jesus' associations also reflect a broad social spectrum. He dined with tax collectors, who were among the wealthiest, and conversed with influential Pharisees. Yet he also ministered to the poor and disenfranchised. This ability to move seamlessly across economic groups highlights his universal message and appeal, not restricted by social or economic boundaries. Considering these aspects of his life, how do we view the relationship between material wealth and spiritual integrity? Can the possession of wealth be as much of a tool for good as it is a potential distraction? As we delve deeper into the historical and scriptural evidence of Jesus' lifestyle, it's clear that the narrative about his poverty requires reevaluation. If you're finding this exploration eye opening and it's challenging your perceptions of wealth and spirituality, I encourage you to engage further. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to join our community. This way, you don't miss out on our latest content where we continue to uncover truths and challenge misconceptions. Your engagement helps us bring more content like this to light, fostering a deeper understanding and conversation around these important topics. Stay with us as we continue to break down barriers and expand our understanding of what it means to live a life of both wealth and godliness. Remember, each like, share, and comment doesn't just support this channel, but also spreads the message to others who might be grappling with these same questions. Another perception that highlights Jesus' management of resources is how he provided for his disciples. The Gospels frequently mention Jesus and his disciples traveling together, indicating a logistical framework that requires funding and planning. Jesus led a group of 12 disciples alongside other followers. Supporting such a group, especially during extended travels, required not only spiritual but also material resources. The logistics of food, lodging, and travel would have necessitated a significant and constant flow of resources. Reflect on the time that Jesus fed the 5,000, a testament not only to his miraculous power, but also his disciples' understanding of their resources. When Jesus challenged his disciples in Mark chapter 6, verse 37, by saying, "You give them something to eat," they responded not with concern about the financial feasibility, but rather they asked if they should spend 200 denarii on bread for the crowd. Their question reveals a significant insight. The issue was never about the capability to procure resources, but whether it was the right course of action at that moment. This scenario underscores the operational readiness of Jesus' ministry. The disciples were accustomed to managing substantial funds, reflecting a ministry well prepared to handle large scale needs. This level of readiness highlights Jesus' role as a leader who didn't just address spiritual hungers, but was adept at coordinating practical logistics to support his teachings and care for his followers. How does this aspect of Jesus' ministry inform our modern practices of community and spiritual leadership? Can we draw parallels between the resource management seen in Jesus' ministry and the contemporary religious groups support their outreach? As we delve deeper into the scriptural accounts, we come across a profound incident in Jesus' life that further challenges the notion of his poverty. This incident occurs in Bethany just days before his crucifixion. The Gospel of John details an event where Mary, the sister of Lazarus, anoints Jesus with a very costly perfume made of pure nard. John chapter 12, verse 3 notes, "Then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume." This act of devotion was not only a spiritual gesture, but also a display of significant financial expenditure. The perfume was worth a year's wages, yet it was used in a single lavish act of honoring Jesus. This incident sparked a discussion among the disciples, particularly Judas, who objected to such waste. However, Jesus defended Mary's action, declaring it appropriate and timely for his upcoming burial. This defense by Jesus underscores the acceptance and understanding of the use of substantial resources for the purposes that align with spiritual significance. This moment is a profound illustration of how wealth was not shunned but a part of the narrative that defined Jesus' ministry and the honor bestowed upon him. It invites us to reflect on the role of resources in our expressions of faith and devotion. Mary's act of anointing Jesus with expensive perfume teaches us that material wealth, when used with intention and devotion, can have a deep spiritual and symbolic meaning. It challenges us to consider how we use our resources to honor and serve. as we've delved into the truth about Jesus' prosperity, challenging common misconceptions and revealing how scriptural accounts support a narrative of abundance and strategic resource management. As we've seen, Jesus' life was marked not by poverty, but by divine provision and purposeful wealth management. If you found today's insights enlightening and wish to further explore how to transform your own perspective on wealth, I encourage you to watch this video, Millionaire Mindset: How Rich People Think of Their Time. Here we uncover the strategies that empower you to multiply your time effectively, mirroring the principles of wise resource management we discussed today. I'll see you in that video.